First contact. The Zarthul encounter. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly before Captain Zyra Zarthul as she guided her ship, the Starweaver, through the outer reaches of her home system. The Zarthul people had dreamed of this moment for generations, their first venture beyond the confines of their own world. Zyra's heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation as she thought about the unknown that lay ahead. "Captain," called out her second-in-command, Vexer, his voice tinged with a hint of nervousness. "We're detecting an anomaly at the edge of our long-range sensors." Zyra's antenna twitched with curiosity. "Can you identify it, Vexer?" "Negative, Captain. It's unlike anything in our database. The energy signature is alien." The bridge fell silent as the implications of Vexer's words sank in. They had prepared for this possibility, of course, but the reality of it was still overwhelming. Zyra took a deep breath, steadying herself before issuing her next command. "Maintain our course, but approach with caution. Raise shields and power up our communication arrays. Let's hope whoever, or whatever, is out there is friendly." As the Starweaver drew closer to the anomaly, a sleek, silvery vessel materialized before them. Its design was impossibly elegant, curves and angles blending seamlessly in a way that spoke of advanced engineering far beyond the Zarthul's capabilities. Suddenly, a beam of light engulfed the Starweaver, and Zyra felt a moment of panic before realizing it wasn't a weapon. It was a communication link. A holographic image flickered to life on the bridge, revealing a bipedal being with smooth skin, no scales or antenna, and a tuft of fur atop its head. Its mouth curved upward in what Zyra would later learn was called a smile. "Greetings, travelers of the stars," the being spoke, its words somehow perfectly understandable to the Zarthul crew. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth vessel Horizon. On behalf of humanity and the United Galactic Alliance, we welcome you to the broader cosmos." Zyra's mind reeled. Earth, humanity, United Galactic Alliance. The implications were staggering. Not only were they not alone in the universe, but there seemed to be an entire community of spacefaring races out there. Gathering her composure, Zyra responded, "I am Captain Zyra Zarthul of the Starweaver. We come in peace and friendship, seeking to explore beyond our world for the first time." Captain Rodriguez's smile widened. "We know, Captain Zarthul. In fact, we've been eagerly awaiting this moment for quite some time." Confusion rippled through the Zarthul crew. Vexer voiced the question on everyone's minds. "You've been waiting for us?" "Indeed," Rodriguez replied. "Humanity has been observing your civilization for the past 50 years, waiting for you to achieve space travel capabilities. It's our policy not to interfere with developing civilizations until they reach this crucial milestone." The revelation hit Zyra like a gravitational wave. 50 years. These humans had been watching her people for longer than she had been alive, silently waiting in the shadows of space for this very moment. But why? Zyra asked, her voice a mixture of awe and uncertainty. Captain Rodriguez's expression turned serious. "The galaxy is vast and full of wonders, Captain Zarthul, but it's not without its dangers. We believe in fostering peaceful relations and mutual understanding among spacefaring races. Your people have shown great potential, and we're here to offer you guidance and friendship as you take your first steps into the galactic community." As Rodriguez spoke, more holographic displays sprang to life around the bridge, showing glimpses of distant worlds, strange alien species, and technological marvels beyond the Zarthul's wildest dreams. Zyra and her crew stared in amazement, their mission of exploration suddenly expanding far beyond anything they had imagined. "We understand this is a lot to process," Rodriguez continued. "If you're willing, we'd like to invite you aboard the Horizon for a proper introduction. We have much to discuss about the galaxy and your people's place in it." Zyra looked around at her crew, seeing the mixture of excitement and apprehension on their faces. This was more than just first contact. It was an invitation to a new era for their entire species. The weight of the decision pressed down on her, but in her heart, she knew there was only one choice. "Captain Rodriguez," Haxira said, straightening her posture and speaking with all the authority she could muster. "On behalf of the Zarthul people, we accept your invitation. We look forward to learning about humanity and the United Galactic Alliance." As arrangements were made for the Zarthul delegation to board the Horizon, Syra couldn't help but feel a sense of destiny. Their simple exploration mission had turned into something far greater, the beginning of a journey that would reshape their civilization forever. Little did Syra know that this encounter was just the first step in a series of events that would not only change the Zarthul, but would also reveal humanity's true role in the cosmic order, a role that went far beyond simple observation and first contact protocols. As the Starweaver maneuvered alongside the much larger Horizon, Syra prepared herself and her chosen crew members for the unknown. They were about to step into a world of wonders, challenges, and revelations that would push the boundaries of their understanding and test the very essence of what it meant to be Zarthul. The airlock cycled, and as the doors hissed open, Syra took a deep breath. With a mixture of trepidation and excitement, she stepped forward into humanity's domain, ready to embrace the future that awaited her people among the stars. Unveiling Earth's secret, 50 years of observation. As Styra and her small delegation stepped aboard the Horizon, they were immediately struck by the stark contrast between the two ships. Where the Starweaver was utilitarian and compact, the human vessel was spacious and filled with technology that seemed to border on the magical. Captain Rodriguez greeted them personally, her warm smile a universal gesture of welcome. "Captain Zarthul, welcome aboard the Horizon. We have much to discuss, but first, let me introduce you to our crew and give you a tour of our ship." As they moved through the corridors of the Horizon, Syra's mind whirled with questions. The humans they encountered were a diverse group, varying in skin color, size, and features, yet all regarded the Zarthul with friendly curiosity rather than fear or suspicion. Finally, they arrived at a large conference room with a breathtaking view of space. As they settled into surprisingly comfortable chairs that seemed to mold to their alien physiology, Captain Rodriguez's expression grew more serious. "Now, I'm sure you have many questions about our long-term observation of your people," she began. "It's a practice we call the Silent Watch, and it's a cornerstone of our first contact protocols." Haxira leaned forward, her antennae quivering with anticipation. "Yes, Captain. The idea that you've been observing us for half a century is unsettling, to say the least. Why such secrecy? And why us?" Rodriguez nodded, understanding the confusion and concern in Syra's voice. "The answer to that goes back to humanity's own journey to the stars, and the mistakes we made along the way." With a gesture, Rodriguez activated a holographic display in the center of the table. It showed a blue-green planet that Syra assumed must be Earth. 200 years ago, humanity was much like your people, confined to our own world, dreaming of the stars. We had no idea we weren't alone in the universe. Then, in our eagerness to explore, we made a grave error. The hologram shifted, showing a barren, red planet. "This is Mars, another planet in our solar system. In our haste to colonize it, we accidentally destroyed a delicate ecosystem of microbial life, the first alien life we had ever encountered. The revelation that we had unwittingly committed genocide shook our civilization to its core." Haxira and her crew listened in stunned silence as Rodriguez continued. "This catastrophic mistake led to the formation of the Earth Exploration and Diplomatic Corps, dedicated to the careful, ethical exploration of space. When we finally achieved faster-than-light travel and encountered other advanced civilizations, we learned that many of them had similar experiences or narrowly avoided such tragedies." The hologram changed again, showing a vast network of stars and planets. "Together, we formed the United Galactic Alliance, with one of its primary missions being the careful observation and peaceful integration of emerging spacefaring races." Vexer, who had been quietly taking in the information, spoke up. But why 50 years? Why not make contact as soon as you discovered us? Rodriguez smiled at the question. An excellent point. We've found that premature contact can be just as devastating as no contact at all. 50 years allows us to thoroughly understand a civilization's culture, values, and potential. We watch for signs of peaceful intent, scientific curiosity, and social progress. She turned her gaze directly to Exira. Your people, the Zarthul, have shown remarkable resilience and ingenuity. Despite the harsh conditions of your homeworld, you've built a society based on cooperation and scientific advancement. You've overcome environmental challenges that would have defeated many other races. In short, you've proven yourselves ready for the galactic stage. Zyra felt a surge of pride at the human's words, but it was tempered by a lingering doubt. And if we hadn't proven ourselves ready, what then? Rodriguez's expression turned solemn. Then we would have continued to watch and wait. In extreme cases, where a civilization proves to be a potential threat to themselves or others, we have measures in place to limit their expansion until they can be safely integrated or contained. The implications of this statement hung heavy in the air. Zyra realized that humanity and their allies held immense power, the power to uplift or restrict entire civilizations. It was a sobering thought. I understand this is a lot to take in, Rodriguez said, her tone softening. But please understand, our goal has always been to foster peace and mutual understanding throughout the galaxy. The Silent Watch is not about control or superiority, but about ensuring that when we do meet, it's as friends rather than as conquerors or victims. Irena nodded slowly, beginning to grasp the magnitude of the situation. So, what happens now? Where do we go from here? Rodriguez's face broke into a wide smile. Now, Captain Zarthul, we invite you and your people to join us. To learn, to share, and to become part of something greater than any single species. The United Galactic Alliance offers knowledge, protection, and opportunities beyond anything you've imagined. As if on cue, the holographic display erupted into a dazzling showcase of alien worlds, advanced technologies, and scenes of different species working together in harmony. Zyra and her crew watched in awe as the true scope of the galactic community unfolded before them. This is what awaits the Zarthul, Rodriguez said, her voice filled with promise. A chance to add your unique perspectives and abilities to the tapestry of galactic civilization. But I want to be clear, the choice is yours. We will not force this upon you. Thyra looked at her crew, seeing the mix of excitement and trepidation in their eyes. She knew that her next words would shape the destiny of her entire species. With a deep breath, she turned back to Captain Rodriguez. On behalf of the Zarthul, I thank you for your honesty and for this incredible opportunity. While the final decision will need to be made by our full government, I believe I speak for all of us when I say that we are eager to learn more and to find our place among the stars. Rodriguez beamed with genuine pleasure. Excellent. Then let us begin your introduction to the wonders of the United Galactic Alliance. I think you'll find that humanity's 50 years of watching were well worth the wait. As the meeting adjourned and plans were made for further cultural and technological exchanges, Thyra couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. The revelation of Earth's long-term observation had been shocking, but the reasons behind it and the possibilities it opened up were undeniably exciting. Little did Thyra know that this was just the beginning. The true test of the Zarthul's readiness and humanity's role in the galaxy was yet to come, as forces beyond their current understanding were already in motion, setting the stage for a cosmic drama that would challenge the very foundations of the United Galactic Alliance. Cultural exchange and technological marvels. In the weeks following their initial contact, the Zarthul found themselves on a whirlwind tour of discovery. The Horizon, serving as a mobile embassy of sorts, had taken up orbit around their homeworld, Zarthu Prime. A steady stream of delegates, scientists, and cultural attaches shuttled back and forth between the ship and the planet's surface, facilitating what was quickly becoming the most significant event in Zarthul history. Zaira, now serving as the primary liaison between her people and the United Galactic Alliance, found herself at the center of this storm of activity. Today, she was accompanying a group of Zarthal scientists on a tour of the Horizon's advanced research facilities. Dr. Aisha Patel, the ship's chief scientist, led the group through a series of laboratories that seemed to defy the laws of physics as the Zarthal understood them. This, Dr. Patel said, gesturing to a swirling vortex of energy contained within a transparent cylinder, is our quantum entanglement communications array. It allows for instantaneous communication across vast distances, unaffected by the limitations of light speed. The Zarthal scientists murmured in amazement. One of them, a quantum physicist named Zelos, stepped forward with wide eyes. But this should be impossible. The energy requirements alone. Dr. Patel smiled. You're absolutely right, by conventional standards. But we found ways to tap into zero-point energy fields, providing virtually limitless power for our more advanced systems. As the tour continued, Zaira noticed a pattern. For every piece of incredible technology the humans showed them, they also asked questions about Zarthal science and engineering. It wasn't just a show-and-tell session. It was a genuine exchange of ideas. Your people's advancements in biotechnology are particularly impressive, Dr. Patel commented as they examined a Zarthal tissue regenerator. The way you've integrated organic computing into your medical devices is fascinating. I believe there's a lot we could learn from each other in this field. Zaira felt a surge of pride at the humans' words. Despite the vast technological gap between their civilizations, the Zarthal still had valuable contributions to make. As the day wore on, the tour shifted from the scientific to the cultural. The Horizon boasted extensive holographic archives of art, music, and literature from dozens of civilizations across the galaxy. In a vast chamber filled with swirling holographic displays, Zaira found herself face to face with Captain Rodriguez once again. Incredible, isn't it? Rodriguez said, gesturing to the kaleidoscope of alien cultures surrounding them. Each species brings its own unique perspective to the cultural exchange and technological marvels. Incredible, isn't it? Rodriguez said, gesturing to the kaleidoscope of alien cultures surrounding them. Each species brings its own unique perspective to the galactic community. Art, music, philosophy. They're the threads that weave us all together. Zaira nodded, her antenna twitching with excitement. It's overwhelming, but in the best possible way. I never imagined there could be so much diversity in the universe. Rodriguez smiled knowingly. That's one of the greatest joys of being part of the United Galactic Alliance. The constant discovery, the endless exchange of ideas. But it's not always easy. Cultural misunderstandings can and do happen. As if on cue, a commotion erupted nearby. A group of Zarthal diplomats were engaged in a heated discussion with some human cultural experts. Zaira and Rodriguez hurried over to investigate. Is there a problem here? Rodriguez asked, her tone calm but authoritative. One of the Zarthal diplomats, Nix, turned to them with an agitated flutter of his wings. Captain, we were examining the human concept of humor, but we find some of it deeply offensive. How can they mock their own leaders and institutions so freely? Zaira winced internally. The Zarthal had a deep respect for authority, and the human practice of political satire was clearly causing some friction. Rodriguez took a deep breath before responding. Nix, I apologize for the misunderstanding. In human culture, the ability to critique and even mock our leaders is considered a fundamental right. It's a way to hold those in power accountable and to relieve social tensions. The human cultural expert, Dr. Emilia Santos, chimed in. It's important to understand that what may seem disrespectful to one culture can be a vital social mechanism in another. Our humor, including political satire, is a reflection of our values of free speech and democratic discourse. As understanding slowly dawned on Nix's face, it was a small moment, but it represented the larger challenges and opportunities of their new interstellar relationships. Perhaps, Xyra suggested, we could organize a cultural exchange program. Teams of Zarthul and humans living and working together for extended periods. It might help bridge these gaps in understanding. Rodriguez's face lit up. That's an excellent idea, Tyra. In fact, why stop at just humans and Zarthul? We could expand it to include other species in the Alliance as well. As they discussed the logistics of such a program, Tyra couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Her people were not just passive recipients of galactic knowledge, but active contributors to the Alliance's growth and evolution. The day concluded with a grand reception in the Horizon's main hall. Representatives from a dozen different species mingled with the Zarthul delegation, exchanging stories, ideas, and even a few interspecies jokes. Xyra found herself in conversation with a Solarian, a being of pure energy contained within a humanoid force field. The concept of physical form was as alien to the Solarian as its energy-based existence was to Xyra, yet they found common ground in their shared curiosity about the universe. As the reception wound down, Captain Rodriguez called for everyone's attention. Friends, colleagues, honored guests, today marks a significant milestone. The Zarthul have taken their first steps into a larger universe, and we are all richer for it. She raised a glass filled with a shimmering liquid that seemed to change color as it moved. To new friendships, to shared knowledge, and to the endless wonders that await us among the stars. The assembled crowd echoed the toast, a cacophony of voices, translators, and telepathic projections, all conveying the same sentiment of unity and hope. As Xyra joined in the toast, she felt a profound sense of change. In just a few short weeks, her people's understanding of the universe had expanded beyond their wildest dreams. They had been introduced to technologies that seemed like magic, cultures that challenged their preconceptions, and ideas that would reshape their society for generations to come. But amidst all the marvels and wonders, a small voice in the back of Xyra's mind wondered, what challenges lay ahead? How would the Zarthul navigate this new, complex interstellar political landscape? And what role would they play in the grand tapestry of galactic civilization? Little did Xyra know that the answers to these questions would come sooner than anyone expected. For even as the celebration continued on the horizon, events were unfolding at the fringes of known space, events that would soon test the mettle of the Zarthul and the very foundations of the United Galactic Alliance itself. As the reception drew to a close and the guests began to disperse, Captain Rodriguez pulled Xyra aside. "There's something else I need to show you," she said, her tone suddenly serious. "Something that may help you understand why we've been so eager to welcome the Zarthul into the Alliance." Intrigued and slightly concerned, Xyra followed Rodriguez to a secure room deep within the horizon. As the doors sealed behind them, Xyra realized that whatever she was about to learn would change everything once again. The galactic crisis and Earth's unexpected role. The secure room Captain Rodriguez led Xyra into was unlike anything else on the horizon. Holographic displays covered every surface, showing real-time data streams, star charts, and what appeared to be battle simulations. In the center of the room stood a large, pulsating crystal that seemed to bend the light around it. "Welcome to the Nexus," Rodriguez said, her voice low and serious. "This is where we coordinate all Alliance defense and crisis response operations." Xyra's antenna twitched nervously. "Defense? Crisis? Captain, what's going on?" Rodriguez sighed heavily, her earlier joviality replaced by a grim determination. "Xyra, what I'm about to tell you is known only to a select few within the Alliance. The reason we've been so eager to bring new species like the Zarthul into our fold is that we're facing a threat unlike anything we've encountered before." With a wave of her hand, Rodriguez brought up a new holographic display. It showed a region of space at the edge of the galaxy, where a strange, swirling darkness was slowly expanding. "We call it the Void," Rodriguez explained. "It first appeared about a decade ago, and it's been growing ever since. It's not a natural phenomenon. It's artificial, created by a race we know almost nothing about except for their name. The nullifiers. Cyrus stared at the image, a cold dread settling in her stomach. What does it do? It consumes, Rodriguez said grimly. Planets, stars, entire systems, they just vanish into the darkness. We've lost contact with dozens of outlying colonies. The few survivors we've managed to rescue are changed, traumatized in ways our best psychologists can't even begin to understand. Zyra's mind reeled as she tried to process this information. But why haven't you told everyone? Surely the combined might of the entire alliance could. Could what? Rodriguez interrupted, her voice tinged with frustration. Panic. Start a mass exodus to the other side of the galaxy. Or worse, decide to try to appease the nullifiers by offering up other worlds as sacrifice. She shook her head. No, we needed to build our strength quietly, to prepare as many races as possible for what's coming. And the Zarthul? What role do we play in all this? Thyra asked, dreading the answer. Rodriguez's expression softened slightly. Your people have a unique resilience. Your ability to adapt to harsh conditions, to think creatively in the face of adversity. These are traits we desperately need. But more than that, your planet's location is strategically vital. If we can establish a strong presence in your system, we might be able to create a buffer zone to slow the void's advance. Pride and fear at Rodriguez's words. So we're to be a bulwark against this cosmic horror. Not alone, Rodriguez assured her. Earth and humanity have our own unexpected role to play. She gestured to the pulsating crystal in the center of the room. This is a cipher stone. It's an artifact left behind by an ancient race we call the Precursors. We found it buried deep beneath the surface of Mars, the same planet where we accidentally destroyed that microbial life centuries ago. Rodriguez approached the crystal, and as her hand neared it, symbols began to appear in the air around it. The cipher stone contains vast amounts of information about the nullifiers and the nature of the void. We've only begun to scratch the surface of its knowledge, but we've learned enough to know that humanity. And now the Zarthul are key to fighting back. How? Tyra asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear for a moment. The Precursors left behind more than just information, Rodriguez explained. They seeded certain worlds with the potential for specific types of development. Technological, biological, even psychological. Earth was one such world. The Zarthul homeworld, we now know, was another. Tyra's eyes widened as the implications sank in. You mean our entire evolution was guided? Rodriguez nodded. To an extent, yes. The Precursors didn't control our development, but they gave us the tools we'd need to face this threat. Humanity's adaptability, our drive to explore and connect with other races, these aren't accidents. And the Zarthul's resilience, your unique biological innovations, they're part of the puzzle too. But why? Tyra asked, struggling to come to terms with this revelation. Why prepare us only to disappear? We don't know, Rodriguez admitted. The cipher stone's information is fragmented, encoded. It's taken us years to decipher what little we have. But we do know this. The nullifiers and the void are not invincible. There's a way to stop them, and together, humanity and the Zarthul hold the key. As if on cue, alarms began blaring throughout the Nexus. Holographic displays flickered and changed, showing a mass of swirling darkness approaching a populated system. No, Rodriguez whispered, her face pale. They're moving faster than we anticipated. The void has reached the Centauri cluster. Exira watched in horror as the darkness engulfed planet after planet, star after star. How long do we have? Rodriguez's eyes met Cyrus, filled with a mixture of fear and determination. Not long. Months, maybe a year at most before it reaches core Alliance territory. She placed a hand on Kyra's shoulder. I'm sorry to burden you with this, but you needed to know. The Zarthul need to be prepared for what's coming. Kyra stood there, her mind racing. In the span of a few weeks, her world had expanded beyond her wildest dreams, only to be faced with a nightmare beyond comprehension. But as she watched Rodriguez spring into action, coordinating response teams and evacuation efforts, Kyra felt a steely resolve form within her. Tell me what we need to do, Kyra said, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. Whatever it takes, the Zarthul will stand with humanity and the Alliance against this threat. Rodriguez nodded, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Then let's get to work. We have a galaxy to save, and precious little time to do it. As they turned their attention to the crisis unfolding before them, Kyra realized that the true test of her people, and of humanity, was just beginning. The next few months would determine not just the fate of their two species, but of all life in the galaxy. The stars themselves seemed to dim as the void grew ever closer, but in that secure room aboard the Horizon, a spark of defiance was lit, a spark that would soon grow into a flame of resistance against the encroaching darkness. A new era of cooperation, humanity's place among the stars. The following months were a whirlwind of activity across the galaxy. As news of the Void's advance spread, panic threatened to tear the Alliance apart. But in the face of this existential threat, something remarkable happened. The diverse species of the galaxy came together as never before. Kyra found herself at the heart of this galactic mobilization. The Zarthul homeworld had been transformed into a key strategic hub, its hardy population working tirelessly alongside humans and other Alliance races to prepare for the coming storm. On a crisp morning, 6 months after the revelation in the Nexus, Kyra stood on a newly constructed observation deck overlooking a vast shipyard. Vessels of all shapes and sizes filled the sky, a testament to the unprecedented cooperation between species. Beside her stood Captain Rodriguez, her face showing the strain of sleepless nights and weighty decisions. It's almost beautiful, isn't it? Rodriguez mused, gazing at the organized chaos before them. All these different races, technologies, ideas, coming together for a single purpose. Kyra nodded, her antenna quivering with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. Indeed, though I wish it hadn't taken such a dire threat to bring us all together like this. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Dr. Patel, her usual lab coat replaced by a form-fitting exosuit. Captain, Ambassador Kyra. She greeted them, her voice tight with excitement. We've had a breakthrough with the Cipher Stone. I think we found our weapon against the Void. Rodriguez's eyes widened. Show us. They hurried to a nearby research facility, where a holographic representation of the Cipher Stone floated above a circular platform. As they watched, streams of data coalesced into a complex, multi-dimensional blueprint. It's called the Harmony Matrix, Dr. Patel explained, her hands dancing through the hologram to highlight different components. It's not just a weapon. It's a system, a network that connects and amplifies the unique attributes of different species. Kyra studied the design, her scientific mind racing. I see elements of Zarthul biotechnology here. And is that, yes, that's based on Solarian energy manipulation. Dr. Patel nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. And here, she pointed to a pulsating core in the center of the design. This is where humanity's role comes in. Our adaptability, our ability to connect disparate ideas and peoples. It's the keystone that holds it all together. Rodriguez leaned in, her brow furrowed. But how does it work? How does this stop the Void? It doesn't stop it, Dr. Patel said, her voice filled with wonder. It communicates with it. A hush fell over the room as the implications sank in. Kyra was the first to break the silence. You mean, the Void, the nullifiers, they're not just mindless destroyers? Dr. Patel shook her head. No, at least we don't think so. The precursor's data suggests that the Void is a form of communication, or perhaps a cry for help from a universe parallel to our own. The nullifiers are likely its inhabitants, reaching out in the only way they know how. Rodriguez ran a hand through her hair, visibly struggling with this new information. So all this destruction, all these lives lost, it was all a cosmic misunderstanding. In a way, Dr. Patel confirmed. But the Harmony Matrix gives us a chance to bridge that gap, to establish true communication, and potentially find a way to coexist. As the implications of this revelation rippled out across the Alliance, a new sense of purpose filled the air. The war footing shifted to one of determined diplomacy and scientific exploration. As the implications of this revelation rippled out across the Alliance, a new sense of purpose filled the air. The war footing shifted to one of determined diplomacy and scientific exploration. The combined fleets, once prepared for battle, were now retooled for the greatest first contact mission in galactic history. Months of feverish work followed. The Harmony Matrix took shape, a massive station at the edge of Alliance space, facing the encroaching void. It incorporated technologies and biological innovations from dozens of species, all anchored by humanity's unique ability to adapt and connect. On the day of activation, representatives from every Alliance race gathered in the Matrix's central chamber. Zyra stood proudly alongside Captain Rodriguez, both of them key figures in the project that might save not one, but two universes. "Are we ready?" Rodriguez asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Dr. Patel nodded from her position at the main control panel. "As ready as we'll ever be. All systems are green. We're just waiting for your command." Rodriguez took a deep breath, looking around at the assembled faces. Human, Zarthal, Solarian, and a dozen others. Each had played a crucial role in bringing them to this point. "Let's make history," she said, and gave the signal to activate. The Harmony Matrix hummed to life, its various components glowing with ethereal energy. The chamber filled with a soft, pulsating light as waves of complex data streamed through the air. At first, nothing seemed to happen beyond the station itself. Then, slowly, the view screens showing the void began to change. The all-consuming darkness started to shift, swirling patterns emerging within its depths. And then, unexpectedly, it spoke. Not in words, but in feelings, images, and concepts that the Matrix translated into something the assembled beings could understand. The nullifiers, it turned out, were not destroyers, but explorers much like themselves. Their universe was dying, entropy claiming everything they knew. The void was their desperate attempt to find a new home, unaware of the destruction they were causing. As understanding dawned on both sides, the mood in the chamber shifted from tense anticipation to profound empathy. The nullifiers, through the Matrix, expressed deep remorse for the harm they had inadvertently caused. In turn, the Alliance offered not just forgiveness, but help. What followed was the dawn of a new era of galactic cooperation. The greatest scientific minds from both universes came together, working to find a way to stabilize the nullifiers' realm and repair the damage done to Alliance space. It was a monumental task, one that would take generations to complete. But for the first time, there was hope. Months turned into years, and years into decades. The galaxy transformed. The Harmony Matrix, once a desperate last stand, became a symbol of unity and a hub of inter-universal cooperation. New technologies emerged from the collaboration, allowing for the restoration of worlds once thought lost to the void. On the 50th anniversary of the Matrix's activation, Thyra stood once again in that central chamber. Her once vibrant scales had faded with age, but her eyes still sparkled with the same curiosity that had driven her all those years ago. Beside her stood Elena Rodriguez, now Admiral of the Alliance fleet, her hair streaked with gray, but her stance as commanding as ever. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Gazing out at the bustling activity around them, ships from both universes docked at the Matrix, exchanging knowledge, resources, and culture. Rodriguez shook her head, a smile playing on her lips. Never in my wildest dreams. When we first started observing your people, Zyra, we hoped to find allies. Instead, we found a key to saving 2 universes. A young Zarthal scientist approached them, her antenna twitching with excitement. Ambassador Zyra, Admiral Rodriguez, the new cross-universal colony ship is ready for its maiden voyage. Would you do us the honor of saying a few words at the launch ceremony? As they made their way to the launch bay, Zyra reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From a simple exploration mission to first contact, from the brink of war to a peace beyond imagination. Humanity's role had evolved from silent watchers to active partners, their adaptability and connective power the linchpin in a grand cosmic alliance. The colony ship stood before them, a marvel of engineering that could safely traverse the boundary between universes. Its crew was a mix of species from both realms, embarking on an adventure that would have been unthinkable just a few decades ago. As Rodriguez stepped forward to address the assembled crowd, Zyra felt a swell of pride and hope. The galaxy, no, the universes, were vast and full of wonders, but also challenges. Yet here, they stood, united, ready to face whatever the cosmos had in store. Rodriguez's voice rang out, clear and strong. Today, we embark on a new chapter in our shared history. 50 years ago, humanity watched and waited, hoping to find friends among the stars. Today, we stand not just as friends, but as family, with bonds that stretch across the very fabric of reality. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the diverse faces before her. Our journey has taught us that the greatest discoveries come not from conquest or competition, but from cooperation and understanding. As we venture into new realms, let us carry with us the lessons of our past and the hope for our future. To the stars, Rodriguez concluded, and beyond. The crowd erupted in cheers, a cacophony of voices, translator units, and telepathic projections, all conveying the same sentiment of unity and excitement for the future. As the colony ship lifted off, its hull shimmering as it prepared to cross the universal boundary, Zyra turned to Rodriguez. "You know," she said, her voice filled with warmth, "I'm glad you were watching us all those years ago." Rodriguez smiled, placing a hand on her old friend's shoulder. "So am I, Zyra. So am I." Together, they watched as the ship disappeared into the swirling energies of inter-universal space, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of 2 realms. It was a testament to how far they had come, and a promise of the wonders yet to be discovered. In that moment, as species from across 2 universes stood united in purpose and spirit, it was clear that humanity had found its true place among the stars, not as conquerors or mere observers, but as bridge builders, peacekeepers, and explorers of the infinite. The journey that began with a simple act of observation had led to the greatest adventure in cosmic history, and it was only just beginning.